Let's start with something we've all experienced. Life never asks for permission before throwing a surprise expense at you. One day everything's fine, and the next day your car breaks down, your laptop dies, or an unexpected bill shows up that you definitely weren't planning for. That's not bad luck. That's just life. And the difference between those moments being stressful or manageable usually comes down to one thing: whether or not you have an emergency fund. In this video, I'm going to show you exactly how to build an emergency fund that covers 3 to 6 months of expenses in a way that's realistic, simple, and actually doable. This isn't about extreme saving or living like a monk. It's about building peace of mind. Now, before we go any further, if you find this kind of content helpful, take a second to like the video and subscribe to the channel. This channel is all about personal finance, financial freedom, and building simple money systems that actually work in real life. If that sounds like something you're interested in, hit the subscribe button so you don't miss future videos. All right, let's get into it. First, let's make sure we're clear on what an emergency fund actually is. An emergency fund is money set aside for unexpected, necessary expenses, things like job loss, car repairs, medical bills, or urgent home repairs. Basically, things you didn't plan for but can't avoid. What it is not for is vacations, shopping, new gadgets, or things you just want but don't need. If you're dipping into your emergency fund for concert tickets, that's not an emergency fund anymore. The purpose of an emergency fund is protection. It's there so you don't have to rely on credit cards, loans, or stress when life happens. Now let's talk about how much you actually need. You've probably heard the recommendation to save 3 to 6 months of expenses. That's not a random number. To figure out your number, you don't need to overthink it. Look at your essential monthly expenses: rent or mortgage, groceries, utilities, insurance, transportation, and any other bills you must pay to function. Add those up. That's your monthly baseline. Once you have that number, multiply it by 3 for the low end and 6 for the more conservative end. That's your target range. And here's something important. This number is personal. If your expenses are low, your emergency fund doesn't need to be massive. If you have dependents or a less stable income, you may want to lean closer to 6 months. There's no one-size-fits-all answer here. Now, this is where a lot of people get stuck. They see that big number and think, there's no way I can save that much, and they quit before they even start. So, let me be very clear. You do not need to build a 3 to 6 month emergency fund overnight. The first goal is not 6 months. The first goal is momentum. Start with a smaller milestone like $500 or $1,000. That first milestone alone can handle many real-life emergencies. It covers minor car repairs, medical copays, or unexpected bills without reaching for a credit card. Once you hit that first milestone, everything feels easier. You're no longer starting from zero, and confidence starts to build. Next, let's talk about how to actually fund this thing. The easiest and most effective way to build an emergency fund is to automate it. Treat your emergency fund like a bill you have to pay. Every time you get paid, move money into it automatically, even if it's a small amount, $25, $50, or whatever fits your situation. Automation removes decision-making, and when you remove decisions, consistency improves. If the money never sits in your checking account, you won't be tempted to spend it. Another helpful strategy is to redirect money you already have. Tax refunds, bonuses, side hustle income, or even small windfalls can all give your emergency fund a boost. You don't have to put every extra dollar into it, but even directing a portion can significantly speed things up. Now, let's address where to keep your emergency fund, because this part matters. Your emergency fund should be easily accessible, but separate from your everyday spending. A high-yield savings account is usually the best option. This is not money you invest in the stock market. It's not money you lock away. The goal is safety and accessibility, not high returns. Think of it as insurance, not an investment. As you build your fund, there's one mindset shift that makes this process much easier. An emergency fund is not wasted money just sitting there. It's money doing its job quietly in the background. It's buying you options, flexibility, and peace of mind. You might go years without touching it, and that's actually a good thing. And if you ever do need to use it, that's not failure. That's success. That's exactly what it's there for. Once you reach your target amount, your job shifts from building to maintaining. If you use some of the money, simply rebuild it over time. No stress, no guilt. Before we wrap up, here are a few common mistakes to avoid. Don't try to build your emergency fund while ignoring high-interest debt. Balance matters. Don't aim for perfection. Progress is the goal. And don't compare your numbers to anyone else's. Your situation is unique. Here's the big takeaway. An emergency fund doesn't make you rich overnight, but it protects everything else you're working toward. It keeps small problems from turning into financial disasters, and it gives you breathing room when life gets unpredictable. Start small. Be consistent. And remember, financial stability isn't built in big dramatic moves. It's built in quiet, steady habits over time. If you found this video helpful, make sure to like it and consider subscribing for more content. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.